Good Thursday evening, everybody. David Paul here in the KHOU 11 Weather Center. It's 8 o'clock. It's time for your Atlantic tropical update and the Pacific tropical update, which includes Tropical Storm Lorena, the remnants of which are going to cross over Mexico and bring Texas a wet weekend, especially in Houston on Sunday. But actually modeling now showing that even Saturday may end up being a wet day in many spots here in Houston, Southeast Texas on Saturday. So we've got a lot going on as far as the tropics are concerned. We are near the statistical peak of hurricane season. We're September 4th right now. September 10th is the peak. So really anywhere in here, you've got a good chance of having an active storm going in the Atlantic basin. That being said, there are no active storms in the Atlantic this evening. This is the time of year when you can get the long track hurricanes that begin in the main development region, move west, then sometimes sneak underneath the mid-Atlantic troughs that start to come across, the mid-latitude troughs that start to come across. Sometimes they can sneak in through the Caribbean into the Gulf. Other times they get caught up in those troughs and get pulled north. That's the very classic track of these mid-season hurricanes, and we do have a spot out here. That's the one that we think is going to be developing pretty quickly over the next day or two. Our Hurricane Center giving that spot out there a 90% chance for development. I'll show it to you here in just a moment. Again, forecast from Colorado State, they're expecting 16 named storms. Normal is 14. They're expecting 8 hurricanes. Normal is 7. They're expecting 3 majors. And up to now, we've only had 1 hurricane. It's been a major, so we've got 1 out of the 3 majors they're expecting this season already in the books. These are the names, and we've had a bunch of little tropical storms, very small tropical storms. Andrea, Barry, Chantal, Dexter, Ferdinand, and then Aaron, the outlier, that was the one that became Cat 5 and stayed just north of the islands, did not hit any major landmass, didn't hit any landmass directly, which was good because it was a very powerful hurricane and would have done significant damage, but the Caribbean and Atlantic missed all of Aaron. So it's been good so far as big hurricanes not being damaging this season. I want to show you the dust forecast, and when I show this to you, I want you to remember how this sets up. So this is where we stand now. Big plume coming off the west coast of Africa right now. There is already a plume that's beginning to spread out across the Atlantic. We have a system, a wave right about here that's trying to develop. When I put this in motion, watch how as the wave moves this way, it intensifies and it begins to curlicue the dust. And you'll see that show up right here. There it is right there. There's the curlicue. And so that's indicating that we're going to get a tropical system developing within that field of dust. That is actually the American model. This is the GFS dust forecast. The European model now this evening has a different outcome. It forms a system and then it dissipates it, and it has it further out ahead, and it looks to me like it's interacting with the dust, and the model believes the dust is going to be thick enough to let the system develop and then squash it. The dust squashes the system as it tries to move into the Caribbean. Here's where we stand right now. In the Atlantic basin, no activity in the Caribbean, nothing in the Gulf. This is the only active tropical wave we're looking at. And you can see right in here, you've got your little flare-up of thunder showers. That's actually happening on the northern edge of a little bit of a low-level swirl in the atmosphere. I've put in the surface wind, and you see the low here. You do have a closed area of circulation here. Hurricane Center has not officially upgraded it to a depression or a tropical storm, but we're getting some convection. Modeling suggesting we're going to get that closed low happening this evening, and because of all of that, they've upped the chance that that wave develops right there to 90%. So it's a high likelihood they believe that that's going to develop. Now, this wave itself is still thousands of miles from the East Coast and from the Gulf, so there's nothing knocking on our door. We don't have to worry about this system over the weekend, but continue to do what we do during hurricane season, which is watch the weather forecast somewhere. Watch it somewhere. This is a great daily spot to do it, but I just don't want anybody to get caught off guard in case something can change overnight. We can get development begin out of nowhere closer to us this time of the year with the water being warm and the tropics being active this time of the year. Modeling on this. So the American model in red develops a vigorous tropical storm, even a hurricane, by the time we get into early next week. That's by Tuesday, September the 9th. See how there's more space in between the isobars on the European model? It's indicating a weaker system, but a tropical system nonetheless, perhaps a tropical storm. Again, Gabrielle is the next name on the list. Now, I'm going to take this deeper into next week and watch. You'll see the European outcome go this way and then just vanish, just fizzle out. That's the one where it looks like the modeling is picking up on some thicker dust, squashing development. Whereas the American model does not pick up on that squashing. In fact, its outcome, you'll see the storm intensify and it takes it into interaction with the northern islands of the Eastern Caribbean. So let's put this into motion. The Euro vanishes, and there's the American model just taking over as a powerful hurricane. This would be a major hurricane if this forecast were to verify, and this modeling does have it interacting with Guadeloupe and the islands, the northeastern islands, Puerto Rico and the northeastern islands of the entrance to the Caribbean Sea. So we'll be watching that very, very carefully, and they're paying attention to that modeling really carefully right now. Again, nothing showing up in the Western Caribbean or the Gulf of Mexico, so for the moment, nothing seems to really be threatening us, but again, things can change overnight this time of the year. Now to the Pacific, and this is a storm that is going to impact we here in Texas, even though it's in the Pacific. That's Lorraine, or what there is of it. It's a weakening tropical system as the storm's being blown apart now by the upper level winds, but you can already see the moisture moving into Mexico and moving into New Mexico and Arizona. And that actually is going to bring them flooding concerns tomorrow and Saturday, and then we some flooding concerns on Sunday. The system itself, it is officially right about here, but the center is now exposed with all the convection being blown off to the north and east by the upper level winds ripping the system apart now. Winds are at 50, that's of the 4 o'clock advisory, moving northwest at 7 miles an hour, but you can clearly see where the moisture is all headed. Upper level winds are pulling it into Mexico and the lower 48. So that tropical moisture gets into Texas Saturday, Sunday, and gives us a very good chance for rain. Could see some flooding rains. So anytime you've got tropical moisture like this moving in, especially with an approaching front, which is what we will have in Texas on Sunday, you got to watch the rainfall potential carefully. This is Saturday afternoon. Heaviest rain in New Mexico and Arizona. Maybe some heavier pockets of rain near the Big Bend of Texas. I think we'll see some scattered showers here in Houston, southeast Texas, Saturday afternoon, but it's really going to be Sunday when this moisture, the deeper moisture, comes in, and then top of the screen, see the blue line hiding back there behind the banner? That's the approaching cold front that will push south and put the squeeze play on all that tropical moisture. So rain and thunder, some of it heavy, is likely Saturday night through the day on Sunday, and this will begin in the morning and be off and on all day on Sunday from Houston to Central Texas to South Texas, where rain totals could be several inches of rain. Let's take a look at the potential for rainfall. So we're Thursday, we're looking at really the heaviest rain on Sunday. We're still broad brushing the rain total forecast here. It's too early to be trying to run high-res models on this, but the lower resolution gives us a good picture. And for Houston, southeast Texas, you know, the northeast side of southeast Texas, Liberty County, Chambers County, Polk, San Jacinto, Eastern Harris, the lighter green colors would indicate anywhere from 1/10 to maybe 1/2 inch of rain for those neighborhoods to the north and east of Houston Saturday and Sunday. For the neighborhoods to the south and west of Houston, start getting into some of the blue areas, especially toward Matagorda Bay, Missouri and Matagorda County and Wharton County, getting into the blue. So you're talking about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of rain for neighborhoods to the south and west of the immediate Houston area. That's for Saturday and Sunday. You can see where the heavier shower threat is based on modeling, getting into the purple here, and that is in the Texas Hill Country. So purple, you're talking about 1.25 inches, 1.75 inches to 2 to maybe even 2.5 inches of rain. Now again, this is low-res modeling. This is broad brush modeling. Within that, you could have some isolated spots that get several inches of rain very quickly. And the weather offices in Central Texas and across Texas, we're all aware of this. We all see this. And so the early alerts are all going out saying, hey, look, if you are going to be out in a flood-prone area, this is a weekend to pay very close attention to the weather where you are and turn on notifications. We look at the flood risk, and this is from the Storm Prediction Center, specifically for Sunday, and they do outline the hill country to the Big Bend in a slight risk, what they define as slight. It's a 2 out of a 4 threat level system. So they've got a 2 out of 4 threat. For Houston, Southeast Texas, and the rest of the state, it's a 1 out of 4 threat. And for we here in Southeast Texas, that would mean isolated street ponding, isolated street flooding for the showers that would come on Sunday. Looking ahead then at our 7-day forecast for Houston, Friday is mostly dry. There's a 10% chance for a shower Friday afternoon. Saturday, 40% chance for scattered thunder showers. Sunday, a 60% chance for rain and thunder showers, especially to the south and west of the Houston area. Still a 40% chance on Monday. That front that's interacting with the moisture to wring it out and give us a chance for rain is going to push through, we think. And so by Monday afternoon, rain ending, and on Tuesday, lower humidity settles in, which would give us a couple of comfortable mornings. We had a comfortable morning this morning with lows in the upper 60s. We may do that again heading into the middle of next week. That is where we stand. Our next live broadcast on KHOU 11 News at 10 o'clock tonight. We'll see you then.